Purposes. All right. Awesome. So y'all, I wrote down a couple things. I think this will be helpful for all of us. I know it was helpful for me once I just kind of like assessed it, wrote it down, got clear with everything. So maybe it'll be helpful for you guys too. So I wanted to talk about, just to give you the outline. I wanted to go over routine and schedule. Okay, and I wanted to talk about just like the IM overview, the Zoom calls, because we've been consistent for the last 2 weeks. All of us jumping on and introing or being there as support, or being on there to learn how to do this for yourself. And I think there's a couple really critical pieces when it goes into this. So I'm going to talk about that too. But I want to preface these calls because I am recording every one of these every Saturday. And I'm going to upload them to my YouTube. That way, not only we can reference back to them, if you guys need to, but other people can as well. And I want to let people know that do watch this, whether you guys are in the inner circle or not. These calls, so we put things into context. These calls are for those that are all in. Okay. I don't need to sugarcoat anything. We don't need to babysit anybody. I don't need to message those to jump on these calls. Mike Sotero, I'll just give you guys this example. Mike Sotero doesn't need to message me to say, "Hey, Abby, are you on this call? Are you on the P600 plus call? Are you on this? Are you on that? Did you do your follow-ups today? Did you get your exposures done? Blah, blah, blah." We set a time frame together, and I'm the one that's messaging him. Okay. And that's my accountability. I own that. And so I would just want to preface this. If you're on this call right now, if you're a part of this, if you're listening to this, it means that you are already bought in. You are already all in to what we're doing, and you don't need anybody to hold your hand and walk through this process. You're owning your shit. You're holding yourself accountable, not making any excuses, and you see the bigger vision of what you're doing and where you're going, a part of the IM Mastery Academy platform, not just with trading, but with the building side. And so I'm going to go over a couple things that I think are going to be super, super powerful. But I wanted to say that because some of the stuff that I share, like some of the stuff that Mikey Sotero talks about, Jason Brown talks about, Matt Rosa talks about on specific calls, they're not meant for everybody. Okay, if you're just a customer, there's 3 different types that they talk about. Type 1, you just want to trade. Type 2, you want to trade and get your membership for free. And then type 3 is you want to not only trade, learn this skill set, but you want to build this thing, and you really see that bigger vision of what it means to really build an online business and create a consistent, long-term, duplicatable, systematic residual income. Okay. And so I wanted to say that because they talk about things on specific calls that are only meant for the type 3, those that not only want to trade but want to build this thing. Like some of the stuff that I say, I'm not going to say to somebody that just wants to trade. That has nothing to do with them. Okay. So I'm only saying things on here because I know you guys can handle it. I know that that's what you want to hear, and you guys have a desire to be here. This is a volunteer army. So I just want to preface that so you guys understand we're all on the same page with this, okay? So number 1, guys, routine, okay? Routine is so important. I know they always talk about how, make a plan and then go out and do your plan. Your schedule is like your boss. And I try with everything that I do to make sure that my schedule has no gaps, because I know for me, this is just myself. I know myself, and I know whenever I have gaps in my schedule and I don't have something, already ready to go at specific times, those are the times that are most vulnerable when I get distracted. Okay. So I'm sharing this with you because I'm human. I make mistakes. I get distracted. I do things that are probably unproductive, but I know that I can better assist myself in being productive and actually accomplishing the things I set out every single day, and then every single week, and so on and so forth, is when I have a plan in place and I'm working my plan. When I have my schedule in place and I filled up my schedule hour by hour, half hour by half hour, whatever it may be. So I'm going to talk to y'all just briefly on like some of the things that I'm doing I know Mikey touched on our call the other day that he did with us about a couple things that he specifically does. And I'll lay it out to you like this. I remember I was at a convention in Utah a few years ago. I remember Christopher Terry spoke at it, and something along the lines, he said, if I was going to give you, um, the same amount of money, okay, you had a task to do, and you could do it within an 8-hour span. I was going to give you 8 hours to finish this task, and I was going to give you, let's say, $800, okay? And, you had all day long to finish this task, and I was going to give you $800. Or if you finished it sooner, okay, maybe you finished it within 1 hour, I was still going to give you that $800. Would you take all 8 hours to finish that task, or would you just do it right away? Would you just get it done? Something like that, right, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the coolest part when I heard that. It was like, why take up all this time? Like, they give us 8 hours, at a job to do certain things, but why wait that entire 8-hour period to get the job done when you can do it within, a quarter of that time, within an hour of that time? Okay. It's just like with building this business or with trading or whatever else that you're doing. If I know that I can accomplish everything that I need to do before a certain period of time, and then have the entire rest of the day to go do what I want to do, or everything else that I do is just, stacking on top of what I've already done, that's going to put me in a position to actually win. So I'm going to lay this out. Okay. So for me, how I write out my routine is I eat the frog first thing in the morning. Maybe you guys have heard that term before. I eat the frog the first thing in the morning. And what I mean by that is I do the hardest thing first, because I know if I don't do the hardest thing first, I'm not going to end up doing it. And for me, like, I just wrote out a couple of things. Working out is the hardest thing for me to go out and do. And I know if I do not do, like, if that's not the first thing that I do every single day, I'm not going to do it. Promise you, I'm just not going to do it. So maybe for you, it's something different. Maybe working out is like, something that you just do no matter what. If the day goes by, if working out is the only thing that you do that day, you're going to get it done. For me, it's not. Okay. So I put working out as like one of the mentally hardest things I need to like get myself in a desire mode to go out and do. So I put that first. Okay. For me, it's trading and it's go live. If I don't trade in the morning, I'm not trading the rest of the day. Okay. I don't trade Asian session. I don't really like to trade London because it messes with my schedule. If I stay up too late, I'm not going to be productive the next morning. I'm definitely not going to go and work out. So I have to trade in the morning. Okay. That is my set schedule. So for me, it's working out. I trade New York session and I'm on go live. So I'm getting, banging out what's that saying? Hitting two birds with one stone. That's what it is. So I'm doing both of that. And then I know this isn't really hard because I like doing this, but it's creating that consistency. And so for me, the third thing is writing my social media post and putting it out there. Okay. So maybe you have a list of things that maybe you just haven't been consistent with. Okay. Or maybe you have one thing that you just don't do very consistently. Well, put that on the eat the frog list. Put that on the hardest things that you need to, put that on the list of things that you've got to do right away in the morning. So for me, I've got to work out right away. I've got to trade and do go live because that's my time of day that I'm going to actually do that. And then I've got to write my social media posts. Okay. Those are the eat the frog moments. So whatever that is for you, bang it out, do it first thing in the morning. So you don't have to worry about it. And once, like, we all know this, but I'm pretty sure Tony Robbins said it. Repetition is the mother of all skill. And it's true. I've been talking about this on the I Am Zoom overviews because I've been thinking about like the questions that I get after the call when I follow up with people, like some of the most randomest things. And I'm like, dude, if only I had covered this on the call, or if only I had asked this question before I, confirm them for the invite. Okay. A lot of the questions I get, and I would love to hear what questions you guys get after the follow up. But for me, a lot of the times people will say, well, I need to do my research, or, I don't know enough about this. Well, guys, like, I didn't have any prior knowledge or experience to learning how to trade. Okay. I don't need to be good at math. I don't need to, be good with numbers, quote unquote, to be able to learn how to do this. Everything is about repetition. Everything is about building proper habits. And when you do things repeatedly over and over and over again, and you are coachable and you follow instructions, you can master anything. Okay. You can learn how to trade. So I try to say on the calls now, anybody can learn this skill set. It's just about your ability to be coachable. How teachable are you to your own process? How good are you at following instructions and plugging in for an extended period of time until? Okay. So write down the hardest things that you seem to not do every single day. For me, it's working out. For me, it's I've got to trade. This isn't really hard. I just know I have to do it in the morning. For me, it's trading. My time to trade is New York session. Okay. And it's writing my social media posts, because if I try to do that any other time, it's just not going to happen. So write down those hardest things for you. Do them right in the morning, because the way that I'm lining up my schedule right now, everybody's going to be different. Some of us work, some of us, different time zones, whatever. But the way that I'm writing out my personal schedule is I want to bang out everything before 12 p.m. Okay? Before 12 p.m. If I can do everything that I have on my list of being productive, like productive activities before 12 p.m., I'm golden. And then I can create a consistent schedule that I'm following every single every single day. And then everything that I do after 12 p.m. is just a cherry on top. It's me time. It's, family time. It's personal growth and spiritual growth time. Whatever you guys want it to be. So write it out like that. So I'll just give you a couple other things that I personally focus on every day. I mean, Alex and I have a check-in whiteboard. Yesterday we did this midday. All right, how many things did we do here? Did we get this done? Did we do this? So if you have that accountability partner, do that. If you don't, write it out for yourself. Message me, message somebody, doesn't matter. Okay. So for me, it's those three things that I do. Another thing that I just need to be more consistent about, I'm owning this, is adding people. I'm really good about replying to messages. I barely leave anybody on read and don't reply. Or I barely, just have messages lined up. I every night before I go to sleep, I usually try to get back to all my messages. Okay. So I'm really, really good about replying. But one thing that I need to get consistent about is adding new people on both platforms, but Facebook and Instagram. So for you guys, what is it for you that's probably been the thing that hasn't been most consistent? For me, I know it's just adding people and sometimes follow-ups, because I'm sending out follow-ups here and there throughout the day. I'll send out an exposure at 10 in the morning. I'll get 2 people on the Zoom overview at 12. Then I'll send out another couple exposures in the afternoon. So it's just about setting up those times for when I've got to follow up with people. It's really simple. It's just doing it. So having that system for yourself. I personally have a tracker that I have on my computer and my phone. I don't really like writing down my follow-up names or my list on paper, because I don't know, it's not organized for me. So I like having it in the Google Sheets or Excel file. It's really, really simple. So if you guys want to have something like that, I can show you my example and you guys can do something similar, whatever works. Okay. But I try to do all those things before 12, and I have my schedule mapped out. Okay. And after 12 p.m. is our call, our Zoom overview. So I've got people on that. And then as soon as that ends, I do my follow-ups. I get on a couple 3-way calls. And then I move on with my day. I have the entire rest of the day to personally develop myself, to spiritually develop myself, whatever. If you have anything else that's going on. Okay. So eat the frog. That was the whole message for that. And then I want to talk about really quick, this is just what I've noticed. First of all, I want to say to everybody that has stepped up, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the recording, those of you that have stepped up and done the intro part of the Zoom calls, I applaud you guys. I've gotten some messages from those of you that have stepped up and done it, wanting feedback, wanting to get better and asking to be on more calls and putting yourself out there and growing and all these other things, setting goals for yourself. I think that's super cool, because I remember the first time that we started doing events, in-person events out here in Arizona. And I remember we were doing them with Chris Derrick, and I was scared shitless because we were doing them at my apartment. And I was like, one day, sooner or later, they're going to ask me to speak. It's my apartment. Why haven't I spoken yet? I was a P1000 at the time, and I was waiting for the day. I was very, very nervous, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't do this. This is so frightening." And I remember they had asked me. They're like, "Abby, like, why don't you speak tonight? You haven't spoken. It's been like a month since we've been doing events here. It's your place." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, you're right. I should speak." Guys, I was shitting myself when I was up there. It was like one of the worst, but most like exhilarating moments. And I'm telling y'all, like, y'all have spoken before. I've obviously spoken before, but it's about repetition. And I give it up to you guys because they like that whole saying about, public speaking, people would rather die than public speak. Like, that's a real thing. I still get nervous. You can ask Alex. I still get nervous before I go onto the Zoom overviews. But one thing, maybe this will help you guys, because I've been on calls where the intro speaker, the energy is very low. And you have to remember, the intro speaker sets the tone for the entire call. Okay. They just do. So I applaud you guys because you're stepping up and you're owning that. But just write this down, because the intro speaker does set the tone for the entire call. And I've been on calls where I'm doing I'm supposed to do the entire presentation, and I have somebody that's supposed to intro, and their energy is really low. They're nervous, and you can tell. Okay, it's okay, but I can just tell. And sometimes I've allowed that person's energy to take over my energy, and it feeds into the rest of the call, and that's not something that we want. So I'm stressing this to you guys because I want you guys to know that your role, if I message you and to step up and do the calls, know that I respect you, and I want to see you grow, and I do believe that you have the ability to not only crush this thing, but you have the ability to really like grow into that role. And you being up there, that's a responsibility. It really is. And you jumping on there, you having enthusiasm, you carrying that good energy that we all have. Okay, I'll go over right now like what that looks like. But anytime, if you're working with somebody and maybe they're introing and they don't have the best energy, and you're starting to see their nervousness, come, kind of catch on to you. As soon as somebody passes the call over to me, I just yell out something, because I'm like, yay, let's go. All right, dog. Like I just say whatever, because I know by me doing that, I exert a sense of like, I exert a different type of energy, and that gets me fired up. Like, enthusiasm is like the spark to, desire. And I always think about that. I have to create my own enthusiasm despite the person before me. Okay. So I want you guys to know that, because if you're ever feeling that, just yell out something. Just be like, all right, guys, woo, like, I'm excited. Whatever. I know that was weird, but just yell out something, because you've got to create your own energy. Like, energy is everything with this, okay? And be genuine. So with the intros, you guys set the tone for the entire call. Whoever's introing, you guys really, really do. So let me give you some pointers. Let me give you guys some things that have helped me. If you guys are introing, make sure you're bulleting what you're going to write down, because oftentimes I see that we can definitely work on is picking up our energy. Be excited, guys. Like, this is cool. Like, if you really think about it, with all the companies that are out there and all the movements that are happening, like, obviously we are biased. I am biased. But if you really think about it, when Robert Kiyosaki said we're ending the industrial age and we're moving into the digital informational age, and learning how to trade is a digital skill set, and it's, if not the only skill, okay, that is recession proof. We are literally in the best position. What we have to share with people is literally, like, hands down, you cannot phase me. With when other people try to share with what they have, I stay open-minded. I don't want to be closed-minded and blow them off or anything. I don't try to be deceitful when I'm in conversations, because everybody has something that they're sharing right now. Okay, I'm not trying to be manipulative or arrogant or cocky when I'm in conversations with other people. Okay, I'm not doing that, because we need to be the bigger person, and we need to show over time, like, yo, what we got is actually the sauce. But we really do have something really, really special. So own that when you're on the call. Like, come with that enthusiasm and that excitement. But have a bullet point for what you're going to be talking about. Because what I've noticed is, we've got to pick up our energy when we do the intros. Okay. And we've got to kind of condense what we're saying. The intro speakers should probably be on there for a max of 5 minutes. Max of 5 minutes. I want to shout out Caitlin the other day. I haven't heard her speak in a long time, but if y'all know Caitlin, like, she throws down like it's nobody's business. And I had a call with her the other day, and I told her, I was like, girl, I need to get you on these calls, because not only your story is so powerful, but your energy is something that not only people can relate to, but they vibe off of. And she crushed that call she did the other day. Like, just the way that she tied in everything. And I was like, are you sure you have not been practicing? Because you killed that thing. So I put up a call of her. I'm actually going to make it public because it was that good. It was a condensed version of the overview, and it was with her, me, and then Mikey actually closed the call. And the way that he edified Bob Proctor, I'm always looking for different ways to edify people. Christopher Terry, ISIS, the company, I always like to learn how they edify. So I'll make that public so you guys can hear it and listen to the way that Caitlin opens that call. She was nervous, but you could tell you could feel her passion, and that's all that people want to hear. Okay, so have a bullet point of what you're gonna say. Bring that enthusiasm, that good energy, and then when it comes to your story, write these 3 things down. Your story should be very in flow. You should just know that thing. Okay. So for your story, talk about where you were before I am. What were you doing? Like, for me, you guys already know my story. Like, I talk about how, I'm originally from Maryland. I came out to Arizona, went to school, did that whole thing. $100,000 student loan debt. Okay, that's where I was. Broke, skeptical, stubborn, but I was open-minded to the idea of, this information. Okay, so talk about where you were. And then second point is your decision. Why did you choose to learn how to trade? And not only that, but why did you specifically choose to learn from IM? Edify the platform. People want to hear that. They don't want to hear that just from me. They want to hear that from you. Okay? So give credibility, edify. And then third thing is, where are you going? People follow people that they can relate to, that are like them, and know where they're going. So what's your vision? Okay, you've been a part of this for XYZ amount of time. This is where you were, this is where you came, and this is where you're going. Talk about that. Doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out ordeal thing, but keep it concise, keep it moving, in flow, and bottom line is bring that good energy to the call. People want to hear that. So that's your story in a nutshell. And then edification. Next part is edify. Whether it's me that's speaking, whether it's somebody else on this call, whether, it's Mikey, it's Jason, it's whoever. I messaged Ivan Paychecks, and he's supposed to be getting on a call to close out an overview with us sometime within the next week or 2. So that'll be really dope if you guys are introing on that call, to be able to kind of collab and see how he does all this. So edification, I wrote down a little brief, like how it works for me, like what I think about when I edify. I'll give you an example. I posted this in the chat. If you guys go on my YouTube, you'll see it. It's one of the most recent videos. But if you want to hear somebody edify, 2 things. Matt Rosa has a video on edification. If you go in the I Am Mastery Tools and Resources doc, the Google doc that I have, and you watch the Building 101 videos, it'll have Matt Rosa's art of edification. Watch that. And then if you want to hear an example, go on my YouTube, SJ, out in Australia. We did a call together earlier this week. Guys, I was shitting myself. She blew that edification out of the water. The first call we did, I didn't record it, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm such an idiot, because that call was so good. Like, just our fire and our collaboration. We aren't even like monetarily affiliated with each other. And that was the coolest part, that we could come together and do that. But I recorded the second call, which I think was our best call that we've ever done together. It's on my YouTube. So feel free to watch that. But if you're going to watch any of it, watch her part. Just listen to the way that she edifies the platform, talks about her story, and edifies. I know it's me, but listen to the way that she edifies. it is unreal. It will take your level of edification to the next level. Like Matt Rose is great. Jason Edify is great. Like I've seen some really class edification, but holy crap, SJ took that thing to the next level. So if you want to get an in-depth, go listen to that call with her. So basically, I put it into 5 different points or 4 different points. With your edification, say you guys are edifying me, talk about your relationship with me. Okay, that's number 1. And then talk about who they are to you. That's kind of one and the same, but like your relationship with them, who they are to you, what do they mean to you? And then number 3 is how have they impacted or helped you, other people, whatever. Okay, so Oh yeah, so I'll repeat again. So write down talk about your relationship with them, okay? Who they are to you, what do they mean to you? And then number 3 is how they impacted or helped you and other people. And then number 4 is where are you guys going together? If you guys need me to repeat it, let me know. But I just wrote those key points down because that's kind of like what I think about when I edify. I kind of follow those main points. So let me just recap this. Okay. Intro sets the tone. You guys set the tone. If I'm introing, I set the tone for the call. Okay. Bring good energy. Be genuine. Like I tell everybody who's opening, intro and lead with your heart. Have enthusiasm when you get on the call. If you got to move yourself a different way, say something a different way, do it because your energy is going to influence the way that you speak. Okay. People can tell the difference. They're not idiots. Have good energy, share your story, be concise, get into that flow of yours. Okay. And then edify the next person. And that's it. Should be a max of 5 minutes or less. I'm really trying to keep these calls as simple and to the point as possible. And then with everything that I do, I like to edify the platform. I like to edify the founders. I want people to know who's spearheading this movement, who are they working with, and then everything in between. Okay, so that is really everything that I wanted to go over with this call. I did want to hear from you guys. What are some things that maybe you want to hear from or you want to touch on that you've experienced this past week that may be challenges? Let me know. Let us know.
Well, I just kind of want to say, like, you're right. You're absolutely right about the whole energy. It's pretty much, it's like you go to a show, you always have like a warm up, whether you go to a comedy show or like a concert, you always have like an opener. So it almost seems like the opener has to have that energy that, gets everyone going. But at the same time, the, the closer, the headliner is supposed to bring the rest of the energy for the rest of the performance or overview or or whatever it may be. And I definitely you know I see what you're saying about that because not just even with ours but even other people's like overviews or even just not just in our industry but anywhere else. You always see people, you know well, hello, my name is Tony, and I'm like they never really have a purpose. Not really a purpose. What am I trying to say here? Um, it's like they're just going around in circles, and they don't really have they don't have a purpose or an intention for their opening. It's pretty much what you were saying, right? It's that intention of why they're doing what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like if our call, was working on a flyer for me. I don't ever try to put a deadline for him because he's working on so many different things, but he's working on a different flyer for me right now. And I'm really excited for when he publishes it for us because it basically is going to have, I told him, I was like, how do you like the title of the calls to be how to win online? I like intro to trading. I do like intro to digital entrepreneurship. Um, but I like How to Win Online. And he was talking to me about the psychology of the, of your name and everything when people read it. And I like How to Win Online because it's like, it's already feeding into people a question, how to win online. And he's going to have different things on there. Learn the basic skills on how to make money, or whatever we talked about. So at the beginning of the call, you guys can state, all right, guys, I appreciate you for jumping on this right now. You guys could literally be doing anything, that whole thing. What we're going to talk about on here is, how to win online. We're moving away from the industrial age and into the digital age, into an age of information. And and you guys can just go into that. Just set the tone, preface what we're going to be talking about. That way people have an agenda that they can follow. People like to, know where they're going with everything. So tell them that, we're going to be talking about this, this, and this. I wouldn't say trading right away. What I've been saying is, we're going to be talking about, how to win online, what that means, the largest financial markets in the world and how you can participate in them. Okay. We're moving into a digital and informational age. Everybody has a cell phone, a smartphone. And I want to show you how you can make money and win online through your technological devices. So without further ado, guys, make sure you have a pen and paper ready to go. Have an open mind, because we're going to drop some value, some information that maybe you've never heard before, that's going to make you shift the way that you think about things. And I'm really, really excited you guys are on here. The person that invited you, they like you, they trust you, they care about you, and they respect you enough to have invited you to this call, get you this information, because they understand how this is going to be able to impact you, not just in your life right now, but long term. Something like that. Okay, I know I just went off, but I wanted to get that because it was recorded, and you guys can talk about in your own way. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I did not, that wasn't even really that good, but I wasn't speaking like that in the beginning. It took a lot of practice for me to be able to get up here and say what I got to say in intro, because I did it so many times. Before I started doing presentations, the whole thing, I got so good at sharing my story. I got so good at edifying, okay? I got so good at those things. So for you, I know a lot of us, we want to move into that presentation mode. We want to move into closing. Well, get really, really good at the basics. Get really, really good at that intro portion. Because I promise you, once you do that, every time that I get on these presentations and I do the overviews and I own my shit and I take responsibility, I forget who I was telling this the other day, but I step into this state of being and this belief of I am a chairman. And a chairman isn't a rank, it's a state of being. And you will become a chairman once you become a chairman. Does that make sense? You will become a chairman in reality, in real life, once you become a chairman internally. And you do that by taking ownership. You do that by owning your excuses. And you take responsibility. So every time we're going to be doing 2 calls every single day this coming week. I'm going to be running them. Y'all send me a message if you want to do the intro. The more responsibility you take with this, the more you own your shit. And I promise you, the more confidence you're going to breed. Do not become egotistical with this. I became egotistical when I was doing this in the beginning. I was ignorance on fire. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going, okay? But don't look at confidence as cockiness. The more I plug into this, the more I not only feel like a chairman, it becomes a state of being. And when you can create that state of being, it's already done. Whatever you want, it's already done. Okay? So I know I just went on a tangent. I want to share that. Tony, I appreciate you for bringing that up. Does anybody else want to share anything? I think we have 2 or 3 minutes left on the call. You good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
I appreciate y'all. Let's crush this week. Rachel, she is let me know if this is still confirmed. She's rocking the call tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. She's gonna intro. I'm really excited to hear from you. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to send out the schedule so you guys have the Zooms for this coming week and moving forward. But other than that, y'all, I appreciate you. Mikey is doing a call tonight, I believe at 8 p.m. Eastern, for any follow-ups that you have, maybe that are on the fence, that haven't made a decision, but you've already gotten them an exposure. Invite them to that call because he's going to answer all of the remaining underlying questions that they have. So, guys, I appreciate you. I love you. I'll talk to y'all later. Be safe out there.